All right. So.
Hey guys.
Now it's real. James
real.
sat down. He's not fiddling anymore. Now it's
Hey,
real.
guys.
He seems
We're
relaxed.
hang out. This feels better. Like I feel like I kept talking to.
You were talking to me.
Young
I guess put
Austin.
me in front of him.
You know
Stop,
what I
you
mean?
guys, you're referencing something that may have not happened yet.
What are you talking about?
You're breaking
Exactly.
kayfabe, bro.
What are you talking about?
Kayfabe. You're breaking
Exactly.
kayfabe.
Sorry, I'll save that for the best of episode. Oh, I looked right into the camera. Should I not do that? Should I not break the fourth wall either already?
He's breaking fourth wall.
I'm
He's
gonna laugh
peeling
as
back
loud
the
as I
layers.
can into that
That's
mic.
great.
We're gonna break every rule.
Yeah, cool.
Well, you know, this actually makes you more self-conscious when you can see yourself, though.
A little bit. I'm not
On
looking
film.
at it. I'm looking at it. Like when it's a lens, it's fine.
Damn.
But having the
It's
screen
different
there.
that time.
But also, I'm blind, so I can't really see. I have the foggy image of me, and weirdly enough, there's an eye hovering over me. Do you see that?
Oh,
think that's facial
That's fucking you
recognition.
up. Yeah, that's definitely gonna get in your head.
Weird.
Definitely.
That's fine.
It's squaring your face.
It's fine.
Might as well be like a gun. It's like
A laser target. That's okay.
like those taser cameras.
Austin will be the Kevin Costner to my Whitney Houston, and he'll be my bodyguard. So I feel safe.
Just don't go any bathtubs.
Have you ever
please.
had to get this guy out of a jam? Some sort of fight?
Not any
Yeah,
fights.
have you? At what? Yeah.
More just I drive him.
Yeah, I was gonna say the driver. Yeah, for real, driver.
He's not really a confrontational guy. The only time any fighting goes on is when he hits me in the nuts. That really, that sets me to 10 immediately.
Why wouldn't it?
I don't know. That's one thing I'm really sensitive about.
Because he's a puss and he can
I'm
just
a
take that shit.
Big old pussy that just got to
Just,
keep
you know,
calm.
he just takes that. He just takes that little tap in the tip.
I have to.
No.
No, I've noticed you guys hit each other's dicks, and I've never had a brother, so I don't fully understand this. So please
Well.
explain to me at what age or
I
what
threatened his life last
state
time
of
he hit me,
mind
and
you could
he
think it's
did.
appropriate to do something like that.
State of mind. I don't know. Because he's a little piece of shit little brother. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, no. We really haven't had
Austin is Matt's brother, in case that's not clear. These guys are
sure. Oh,
half brothers.
you know, I'm not even playing.
People
this,
might
like,
not know
people
our exact
this.
relation
Right.
and or existence. Matt and I are cousins.
That's why the name of the podcast is called Just Cuz.
Well, if we decide,
Burned.
That's why we
Burned.
call it Just Cuz.
Burned. Oh, it's done. I'm sorry, guys.
It's
I'm sorry.
solidified now.
I'm
It's
sorry.
solidified.
No, it's
Oh,
not. I don't
but
know. I'm just
having all three
spitballing.
is
I'm
helpful.
spitballing here. I'm sorry. I feel like I just ruined everything with that. It's now it. It's it though. How do you take that back?
The inner critic.
we can easily cut that out. So
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Oh, we're cutting
write down
things
not
so
to talk
much
about
out.
that. Write down not to talk about that. That's one of the ones we can't talk about.
into the mic, please. If you
That's a
want.
problem area.
Here, wait. Let's let.
So,
Nice.
for the ASMR.
Nice. My favorite pen. Anyone, in case you're looking for
It's
a
a beautiful
pilot,
pen.
try it out.
It is really beautiful.
Try
4
it out.
millimeters. Do you guys give a shit about pens?
Yes, I'm actually more of pencils in my job right
Oh,
now.
of
I
course.
need some pencils, and I've been really into Ticonderoga pencils. Classic.
My life coach told me I couldn't use pencils anymore because I had to stand by what I said and what I meant.
Oh.
So I have to use ink.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's a permanence. There's a permanence to that, you know?
Yeah.
Permanence. You know, so when you write it in
Exactly.
your journal or your diary, you know.
I have to stand by my words.
Yeah, you said
Pen
that.
is mightier than the
you know?
sword.
The Me Too
Yes,
movement
the finest
is
ink is
not
better than the best
valid.
memory.
Just kidding.
Jeez, here we go.
That's fucked up.
Austin just ducked away real
My
quick.
penmanship is terrible.
Oh,
so
chicken scratch.
Well, I was born a lefty, and going to a Lutheran preschool, they switched me to righty, so I'm messed up in the head. So I shoot a basketball lefty. I kick with my left foot and right foot. That might help with guitar.
It
with the
honestly
left hand.
might.
It's a typical millennial excuses is what I'm hearing.
Well, I don't think I'm Gen X, aren't I?
Are you?
Gen Z, I think.
I think you just answered what you were with that, asking that question.
Yeah, not
You were
knowing,
Gen X or Gen Z.
not knowing at all.
No Gen Xer would make that mistake. Let's put it that way.
They're proud.
Gen Xers don't make mistakes; they just make excuses.
Austin, you have left and right hands, though?
Yes, I do have left and right hands.
One of each.
One of each, believe it or not.
Damn, and you seem to be using both of them.
As much
Matt's
as possible.
laughing. He's covering his hand with his right hand, or his
His-
mouth
his
with his
right
right
hand.
hand.
Nah.
Yeah, when it comes to writing things down, I don't
Kill
want
me.
it permanent because if it's pen, I can't erase it.
Oh, okay. When I made that joke about my life coach earlier, I'm now your life coach because I've now told you this trick.
Oh, okay.
You can
so-
only use pen from now on.
Okay. I
It's
guess I have to.
How do you-
Skin in the game. You're
So-
living life.
That's your life coach now.
No pencils. No one should be using pencils. I was a firm proponent of pencils up until my life coach, i.e. me in this situation, decided to make this joke.
Unfortunately, in my job, I have to use pencil. It's a requirement that you use pencil. But I was a pen man. I have been a pen man for a long time.
You lived on Penn Island, believe it or not.
Penn Island. I found an erasable pen recently. and
mean
that was a
you mean whiteout?
blast from the past.
It kind of doesn't work that well.
It-
I've used them, and
Not
it kind of
bullshit.
just you
They
can
had
still
those when
see.
I was in 4th grade.
Right, but that's the point. Like, oh, you're an adult, you can use a pen, but it's got an eraser because you're still a little piece of shit kid,
You're
so
kind
you're
of an
gonna
adult.
fuck up a lot.
A ballpoint pen, it really digs into the paper. It creates a serious crevice.
So real talk.
You're gonna
though,
see that even if it's erased.
So this
pencil,
tiny
not the
thin-
same.
look at this, wait,
Graphite
wait.
is fine. That's why they do like sketches in graphite.
This
No one's sketching shit.
rips the shit out of the paper. Rips
That
the shit
pen?
out of it. Yeah, I love it. Actually, I love it though.
It is intense.
But you have to have
4 millimeters. I told you.
you have to have a light hand with it. I feel
You do.
You know what I mean?
Well, actually,
Yeah, yeah.
the reason I'm pretending like I don't sketch with this pen, I do
Oh,
sketch
you
with
have
this
to.
pen. This Pilot Tech 4 millimeter pen.
4mm. Yeah, you can't upset our sponsors, of course.
Our future sponsors.
Future.
Because
I want to hear more about this right hand, left hand thing, though.
yeah. So explain more. So how do you feel? Are you ambidextrous? Are you not
Slightly,
ambidextrous?
slightly. I'm just less
What's
talented with my left hand.
What's one thing you can do better than like other people, right and left? Like you were totally ambidextrous in.
Finger banging chicks.
No.
The crowd is hushed.
I mean,
Nah.
no. Come on.
I guess guitar helps. I mean, because there's a lot of dexterity in the right hand. You only have to finger pick, so that's my
Finger-
dominant hand.
Chicks.
Austin's a kick-ass guitar player.
I wouldn't say kick ass. I'd say
Mm.
I'm gonna just not. I'm gonna let them talk.
Tap buns. Kick fanny.
Um,
Look, you're amazing at guitar, and I can totally see that. You need,
the
strong
amount
hand
of
to pick
puss
with,
this
strong
got
hand
crushed
to
based
fret
on his
with.
guitar playing is just out of control.
Matt, what's your musical history? Austin and I play music together constantly. I'm a drummer. He's a guitar player. Matt's just joined us in this garage for the first time
Oh, so we are. This is a
to
garage.
be
now.
on mic.
This is a garage.
What?
You said it.
Don't reveal. You're not
What,
supposed to
come on.
reveal.
He revealed.
My musical.
You guys keep referencing the last podcast.
Yeah, we should stop doing that.
I'm trying. I'm
gonna
trying
be
to steer you
trouble.
guys away from it.
It's trouble. This is.
But I did set you up for that, calling this a garage. But seriously, musical history.
Zero.
Go.
I have zero. I played.
You played the recorder in
I
fourth
played
grade?
rhythm kazoo in a band. Dilpendo in high school.
I had no idea.
Yeah, rhythm kazoo.
You
I just
didn't-
wanted to be hanging out with.
You
my
didn't know
friends.
he was in like Radio Club or whatever either, right?
I
This food might be here.
Good call though.
had a feeling.
That was a real smart.
Pretty quick.
No one can hear that though. No one can hear
Pretty
that.
quick.
It just came from the computer.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's true actually.
He's gonna step out for a second.
Why? Hello.
No, let's just do the whole thing.
Thank you. I'll be right there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I guess me and Matt will just take over this one.
Yeah.
I knew you did a lot of radio in school, but
Yeah.
I didn't the extensiveness of how much.
Yeah, it was. I took it pretty seriously. I always enjoyed that Harrison Ford was the first president of WMTH Radio, but it was at Maine East. He was at the Maine. He went to Maine East. He
Oh,
didn't
you're
go to Maine
not
South.
serious.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
He went
yeah.
to Maine East.
Yeah, he went to Maine East. Yeah. So when
Oh, shit.
the first when the radio department was established, it's like in the 70s. I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember. But he was technically the first president. So I like to say that me and Harrison Ford have like a little deep connection, that we both were president of radio.
That is a colorful
Of WMTH.
resume.
Yeah.
you could definitely.
Totally.
And it's not a lie. It's not a lie.
super silly though. Super silly.
It's not as cheesy as when those people say, "Oh, it was 2008 People of the Year," because fucking Time Magazine said everyone was.
right. Exactly.
That's a garbage thing to put on your
cheesy. But this is still very cheesy. I just like it as a fun fact. But yeah, no, I definitely did radio. I actually, when I was, I directed the first night game that Maine South football ever did.
Really?
So when they would record games and they would do put it on the public access television, they would have students directing it. So I with another guy, we directed it. Camera 1 going to camera 2, going to camera 3.
the
Picking
switchboards
shots
and all that?
Yeah, that's what we did. I was doing all the orchestra shows. I was doing all of the Hawkettes shows. When they would do the orchestra, I was directing all of these things.
What was real fun is when I started doing stuff in the PA wing, the performance art wing in Maine South. I noticed your name scribbled on a locker when I started doing construction crew.
No shit. yeah.
Building the sets.
That's a
And I was just
legacy,
like-
folks. That's what you call a
Seriously,
legacy.
Yeah,
And the guy who was running it, bless his heart, Mr. Sanchez, he was very fond of you. And, because we have different last names, I had to say who you were. And
Yeah. I was a bit of a troublemaker. I enjoyed being in part of tech theater in the background there, but really it was the radio and the television.
that was your stomping grounds for sure.
Back to the radio TV hour
Yeah.
featuring the Harris brothers.
Yeah, we're just talking. He's like, I'm filling him in on.
It's very interesting to talk to you in this sort of like medium opposed to normal.
Oh, it's different. It's a whole different animal right
Stakes
now.
are way higher.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's like
Nice.
there's a recording of this. You know, it's like people might look at this later on for posterity reasons. So,
Let's check their first podcast. You know?
See about
so
that food came quick.
so
Yeah, that
much
was very-
quicker than we thought.
That or we've been doing a podcast for 55 to 65 minutes, according to the estimates.
We really do enjoy talking to each other, and time flies when we're having fun. However, I really feel like that was real quick delivery.
Time flies,
insane.
gang.
Insane.
Yeah.
I've never been left-handed myself. I actually always wanted to be left-handed
Why?
Why is that?
because they die earlier.
Oh, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I mean, I would say it's the artistic stuff. You know,
I'm very left brain for
really
sure.
stretching the right side of your brain there.
I saw you had that book
He
in
uses
your
opposite.
bookshelf
What book?
about right-handed brains taking over the world.
Oh, Daniel Pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that you're very right-brained left, if that makes sense. You're very logistically creative. Like you have a lot of logic when it comes. Like you're
Math rock.
you're like my brother, where his talent isn't playing the bass, but his talent's learning very well, so he becomes very good at the bass and in this instrument that he tries.
Sounds great to me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Right.
much just a sloppy creative. I kind of throw stuff together, and it's pretty decent.
Don't you sloppy.
Like a Kanye
It's
West,
negative.
you know, with
No
the
reason for
mania.
that. Oh well, if comparisons to Kanye, that's another story.
Right. I love it how in one breath he was like, "I'm sloppy, but I'm also Kanye."
I'm a piece of shit. You know, Elton John. You know, 21 hit singles.
Nothing-
number one in
nothing
the
big.
world.
but I'm
Sir,
also the voice of my
I've been
generation.
knighted.
Which generation though? I can't even make up my mind which one it is. But I have to research that. And find it
He
further.
probably got 2 generations out of people.
Some people, absolutely right.
Probably was famous forever. My dad was telling me he actually went to get tickets for Van Halen, and something happened. They had to cancel the show, and they like gave him a choice of another concert. And so instead of seeing Van Halen, he saw Elton John.
Did he enjoy that concert?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
All three of us saw Elton John.
We've seen Elton John together. That's why I bring
all
this
three
up.
of us.
I know that's why you brought it up.
Great podcast conversation.
No, the fact that he, as opposed to seeing Van Halen in the '80s, saw Sir Elton John.
That's his heyday.
We saw him in 2019.
in his farewell tour. Second time I've seen Elton John. I'm a
Dude's doing work.
very, very large Elton John fan.
Oh God.
Yeah, real talk.
What,
I was
what gave you the bug, the Elton bug?
probably Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting.
That's the best one.
That was
That's
a
a great
big
song.
hit when I was doing WMTH radio at Maine
That's the
South.
Nickelback song, right?
Yeah, it's very similar to
Animals.
Nickelback.
Animals by Nickelback is a reflection of Elton John's Saturday Nights.
Or a reflection, a dark
Similar
mirror to it.
Similar ditty.
Yeah.
Little ditty.
A
But
little-
you like
little
Elton. You Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting as well.
Oh yeah,
Started you
that
off.
was what. Well, just talking about
So at
WMTH.
12 o'clock, are we going to start a fight club here?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
I don't know. I
Get
don't know what
about it
tomorrow
as
brings.
oiled
I
as
only
a
planned
diesel
today.
train.
I do have the boxing gloves in the truck.
Yeah, we can fucking fight it out.
Why do you
It's
have
fucking-
boxing gloves in your truck?
Well,
You don't?
you don't? You never know what happens on
I've
the
given them
streets.
as a Christmas present, maybe, but not anything beyond that. Someone else did.
Okay. I was like, who needs to
It was
fight?
It was
Like
a group Secret Santa. I'm like, someone
you
got
need
boxing
these.
gloves. What the fuck was the reason for that? Why do you have them?
I like to keep that a mystery personally, but
You box.
I don't.
You work out.
Yes. It's good cardio.
Wait a second. No, I don't box. Why the fuck do you have them in the back of your? What do you do with them?
You know what?
Sexual thing?
I'm a big guy. I
It's
gotta
a sexual
I gotta do
thing.
cardio to keep the weight off,
So you
and I
just,
think punching things are very
slap
fun.
the bag around a little bit.
Yeah, me and my buddy, we get the focus mats out. We slap each other.
buddy, slap each other.
Tenderize the mats.
His name is Matt.
Sure, is it?
Mm.
You take it to the mat.
That
With
would be
him.
not a fair fight.
You got some pounds on him.
Almost 100 pounds.
Okay. That's not fair. That's not fair at all.
No, he's a good kid. I've been training him for a bit.
You've been training him for a bit.
Somewhat.
He's doing radio shows. He's training.
Oh.
You guys
Tell me more
you
about
guys are
Austin's
learning each
mysterious
other.
life. Austin's an MMA fighter. It's like all of a sudden pull up the clips. He's just like
His
in
hooks were
Bellator.
good, but like I think anything overhand, he was really getting himself in trouble.
He's a ground and pound guy.
Austin, let's hear it.
Well, he's been picked on a lot by a lot of people I know, and he wanted to learn how to like get bigger and stronger. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'm going. Might as well join me. And he got him in the same gym as me, and teaching him how to punch. I guess.
Yeah.
It's
Teach him how
fun.
to kick
How many
ass.
people have you punched?
I've only elbowed one dude at Lollapalooza. It was an immediate knockout, and I had to get out of there. I don't like fighting. I personally do not fighting.
Can
I've never elbowed anyone out.
I haven't really gotten
Theoretically,
many fights.
that happened. That didn't actually happen. That was a theoretical.
Allegedly.
What do you mean you theoretical?
Allegedly, I elbowed someone in the
This
face.
is allegedly a good story.
Are you
Matt,
back?
you were asking a question?
Yeah. This is theoretically a great story.
So-
So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. So theoretically, How would have this started? This
So
fight
theoretically, it was Lollapalooza, and I was with my ex-girlfriend, and
Alleged
theoretically-
girlfriend.
alleged
alleged
ex-girlfriend.
girlfriend from Canada.
And theoretically, this dude was bouncing around, and he elbowed my ex-girlfriend in the face, and then immediately after that, elbowed me in the face. So I threw an elbow back. Theoretically, I watched him hit the ground, and theoretically, we got the fuck out of there. And that was the only fight I've theoretically ever been in.
Oh, it's theoretically a good story.
Theoretically, if that was true. Yeah.
That's too bad, man.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it comes to blows. Honestly, we're way less violent than we used to be.
I'm not
so.
really a conflict person. I don't like conflict too much. I don't
Yeah.
even like arguing with like
Nope.
family.
I think
at
the
all.
closest I came to punching someone in the face was with you.
Ooh,
to
let's
be
hear about
honest.
that.
Or I did. I think I went at you once, and they're like, come here, chubby. Don't go after him.
Oh, so I have no recollection of this. So I'm real excited.
This should be great.
No, real talk. There's so many of these.
I don't remember.
No,
the-
you
the
remember
cat-
this exactly. So
was like
please.
a-
He knows every detail.
Yeah,
Don't even-
I know he does.
Backyard
Please.
family party at our house. I don't know if we were playing basketball, what it was exactly. Anyway, I wanted to murder you. I came at you. I went to throw a fist at you. I think it was the only time I've ever tried to hurt someone.
Holy fuck. This is incredible, everybody. I'm looking directly at the camera
I'm
and
trying
like,
to be honest.
let's do it.
I'm gonna pretend that he never told me this.
And now
before.
I
I just told you this recently.
so now
I think that's
feel-
why it's on my brain.
Sure. I feel bad that I don't remember this.
I mean, because you probably
he pissed so many people
got
off.
that reaction
Not
from a
even
lot of
special.
people.
So I have a story that we could talk about you in like 5 to 10 minutes that
Please.
changed my life.
Back to the alleged
Real
elbow.
changed my life.
elbow.
But I
Let's-
want to
I'm
know
gonna write
this.
that down. I'm gonna write that down.
No, yeah. No, I really am.
I got it. It's in my head.
Austin story. Okay, so but no. So what was give me more. Give me more.
I don't have more. You know, it's an
We were playing a
emotional
game.
memory.
We were
not
playing
like
games, and I was being a shit talker. I was
Yeah,
saying horrible
maybe.
things.
Maybe.
Yeah. See, if you were overweight back in the day, oh man, I was a monster.
I wish I had a better story. Like, my contact lens fell out. I bent over to pick it up, and when I did, you jumped off my back and slam dunked the basketball.
No.
I said, "Fuck James."
But
But it's not like that.
I used to be a picker, dude. I used to be very mean, like very, very mean. And
We go through phases.
no, we do. But you have an instance. And okay, so here you go. Austin, when he was younger, I was a very, very bad older brother when they were younger.
You're being.
No, I'm not. I'm no joke. I did
What is
not
a good
want.
or bad brother? Really?
Right, sure.
You were there.
From my recollection,
You had a
right?
relationship.
No. I just mean like when they were younger, I was very angry that they existed, right?
Ah.
And
the half brother type situation.
Yeah.
no, not even half brother. You're just a new baby in
Gotcha.
my family, right?
that's
like,
always
sure.
personal.
I specifically remember teasing Austin to a point, or getting him to a point where he's like, I want to kill myself. And he was very young. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
No, you were very young. He was very, very young. And he said, oh man, I just want to kill myself. And at that moment in time, it was in high school. I'm looking at the camera directly. It was in early high school, and I was having a lot of depression problems, not feeling great, right?
hurt people,
So-
hurt people, that sort of shit.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? So
So
when I
surreal.
realized what I was doing, it like hit me in a way that like changed my life. It changed my life. I'll never forget that moment with him and him crying and having that like and I was like, oh my God, no, this is just my brother. What am I doing, right? But I was a pretty shitty person early on in my life. Like I would say things like, I'd rather be short than black. I would say horrible things and be very mean.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember him having this instance where he said these things, and I took it and I was like, oh my God, I'm also feeling this, and I'm making another person feel these feelings. And I remember the change. I remember feeling that and wanting to not do that anymore.
That's a main point of why I'm not really confrontational, because a lot of people who are going to be picking, I'm fairly confident in who I am. I'm not really like, I don't have too many problems that are open and cause me to harm people around me, but I am comfortable enough to be like, look, this guy obviously doesn't want to fight me because of nothing. There's obviously something going on right now, and me knocking his ass out won't make anything better. It's just going to make me look like an evil villain. you
Yeah.
know? Many times I've wanted to solve problems with my hands, but I'm just like, it's not worth it. It's truthfully not worth it. Fights are fun for 3 seconds when the adrenaline hits. It's what I tell as many people, and it's not worth it.
Yeah. It's a high stakes thing.
We were talking earlier how we're just evolved as people, and we're coming to a point where
Yeah.
we just don't need to do that. I was talking to a friend earlier, and he wanted to really weird aside. In the back in the day, they'd have hot air balloons, and they'd watch like Civil War battles, and you'd watch these giant battles of people just like murdering the fuck out of
like
each other.
bayonets in the face.
Super violent, just horrible blood everywhere, right? Like we're in a stage now where like, yes, obviously there's horrible violence in the world, but we're not throwing waves of people at it. You know what I mean? Like the violence now is much different because we've evolved as a species.
It's less personal, drone warfare compared to trench warfare.
Think about that.
Those are giant.
We don't even want to send a
giant
person to
differences.
do it.
Well, the people supposedly that pilot those things, they have like PTSD.
It's crazy.
video
to think
game
about.
operators
You're literally
in
just you're
Nevada.
doing this, right? You're doing this, operating
Yeah.
it, and you're killing people. And it's like,
It's an audit.
how do you
We were talking about that recently. A friend of ours got involved in the Air Force, and then we have suspicions that he's a drone operator.
Oh.
Yeah.
What kind of stories does he tell? I was at work the other day.
Yeah.
Yada
right,
yada yada.
I was
A lot of
controlling the
smoke
joystick.
on the screen.
guy
Let's put it
died.
that way.
Not
Jeez.
many, but it's just
I'm not trying to make light of this fucked up situation.
no.
Actually, I am directly doing that.
Yeah,
But
you have to.
You have
but
to.
you have to.
You can't
Gallows
take it too
humor,
serious.
right? Gallows humor. I just though I do think that we've gotten to a point where you still see on the internet though these fucking fight videos where someone just gets knocked the shit out, right? But in
Yeah.
your daily life, how many
Hard.
people do you see fight? You know
Never.
what I mean?
No,
Right.
it's been a lot. Well, also people tend to sue now. Someone starts shit. Two people have a beef. One guy, like the taxi driver, it was a 60-year-old man and another dude. They both got out of the car to fight. It was like two Ubers. One guy punched the other guy. The 60-year-old guy hit his head on the ground. He fucking died immediately.
That's yeah.
Is that worth it? Is that dumb spat worth?
I was just gonna
you
say,
know,
I saw a
losing your
video.
family and all that?
Kid punched the dude and was just like beating him in the face, right? Kid had brain damage. The kid that he was beating on had brain damage. The kid that had brain damage started the fight, right? Like he came at the
Of
guy.
course.
The kid finished it, but he just kept railing this
You
kid.
gotta have
right?
someone pull. That's the thing. Everyone wants to film it. No
It's
one
not
wants to
about
take
that.
anyone
It's
out.
now that now there's consequences for those actions, right?
Yeah.
Like he has consequences now. He just doesn't get to beat the fuck out of that kid, even though he was attacked first. He doesn't get to just like destroy somebody's face, right?
So you're saying I shouldn't have tried to destroy your face that one time?
No, I'm saying I wish I remembered that enough to like apologize and feel
You do
bad.
not have to apologize.
But it's funny, like when I
for
was
something that I felt in my brain
right.
from
It's good
20
that you
years
didn't
ago.
act upon it.
Now I kind of wish you did. And then, well, no, I don't.
No,
because
I
then we would have been
I
here.
can't remember if I did try or and someone stopped me or like I was like, oh yeah, hold me back. It was like one of those moments. Where
When
you're
you're
like,
actually angry, you're like,
oh, hold
I'm
me
gonna
back.
punch
I swear I don't want to rock this guy in the mouth. I'm
But-
just gonna.
This is a fascinating instance, though, of somebody having a situation with a person many years ago that they don't even remember. I don't even remember that instance.
You talk about blowing all your good stories on here. Like that's the best one I got with you. Or like
Really? Yeah. No, man.
I think the most like revelatory.
it is.
Oh, you wanted to sock me in the jaw? Tell me more about that. Let's hear a little bit.
absolutely. Like right now, I can't imagine. I mean, you could punch me in the face, but like why? Why would you punch me in the face? The fact that there was an instance though at a time in our lives when you fucking wanted to.
It could have.
You know,
It
when
could have been. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying when you're a kid, you don't know anyone.
No.
There. It's like you spend some time around cousins. Maybe someone you were in daycare with, but then like you just don't know a ton of people. You get older, you meet more people in school, but that's a
Yeah.
different story. What were you saying, Austin?
I was gonna say like you probably didn't even realize what you were doing because it was just a natural. Maybe
Come
that was
on, of
before when
course.
Like I said, I was
Before
a
you
horrible
picked on
human.
me, yeah.
I picked on people. I was very specific. I would pick on people, like not even consciously. Just you would, right? You don't. Sometimes you don't know you're doing a thing until you're like, I'm doing this fucking thing, and then you have to kind of pull back and have a come to Jesus moment. Even though I hate that fucking saying, you know what I mean? But
Busted it out pretty quick for hating it.
yeah, but
almost
it's-
immediately.
It's
You know,
easy.
one of them come to cross moments.
Cliches are easy, right? But it's at that moment where you have that like, oh, the light hits you and you're like, oh man, I don't.
Those are important. And obviously, you're already getting past multiple stages psychopaths, sociopaths. They're not even having those feelings. Maybe they're recognizing, but they're not
No
doing anything
recourse.
about it.
Not
Yeah.
everybody has it, right? So
But you're actively
how do you
changing your
handle
behavior.
society not having any of those feelings? And like, I'm surprised he didn't knife me at some point.
Just it built up over the years. If you Matt steals like the last croissant roll at
We've
like
been
Thanksgiving.
good.
like
We've been
3
good
years
for a
ago.
long time. That's why I feel comfortable talking.
Hell
about
yeah,
it.
dude.
I feel like we have an excellent relationship.
Yeah. I mean, over the years, I remember coming here and like hanging out and just chilling and literally doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
We would talk. There's a couple times we come here, we talk for like 2-3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Just about everything.
That's when like life moves the fastest.
Yeah.
Good conversations.
That's how it's been with me and you. I'm glad we start recording this because we would do the groovy Tuesdays that we do. We'd come over and jam.
What kind of Tuesdays?
Very groovy Tuesdays.
Hey, get on that mic, dog.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sing those sweet
Yeah.
notes.
I don't sing. No,
But,
but
it's been great talking to you more.
like I'll come over here. Everyone will leave, because they're adults and they have lives and jobs. And me not having
Children and fiancés.
me going to college
and
right now. I hang out here till 11. We'll talk about stuff. It's really nice.
College.
College. Oh, community college.
No,
let me air quotes that one.
I didn't mean it like that.
No, it's okay. I get it. I feel it.
It's just funny to hear you say 11 p.m. is late when
Yeah.
you're 21 years old. That's
Right.
laughable to me. That's the only thing I could focus on and all that.
Yeah, I didn't want to keep you up. You know, you have work tomorrow. I didn't
That's
want to
true.
keep you up.
You've kept me
It's
up a
been
couple
later.
times.
I left here at like 1 o'clock sometimes.
That was a little. We were setting up for this. You know, it's different.
Yeah, leaving
But that's the
before.
latest. That's late as hell.
Yeah.
That's it's my second job, putting in work.
Putting in work.
Find me Tuesdays and Thursdays only on what's our station?
I don't know. Stitcher Smart Radio.
Stitcher Smart Radio, Falcon11.com.
Come everybody. Falcon11.com.
Anyway, it's been great to finally get
Man, this just feels really
the
good.
ink of voice,
This
which
feels
is
really good.
recorded conversation.
I mean,
Absolutely.
these
of
conversations
voice.
are just going to happen regardless, and it's nice they're recorded.
Posterity. It's all about posterity.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the name of the podcast should be. Posterity.
Yeah, that's gonna come across.
Second name.
That's
I
gonna
was
come
going to say
across.
let's get a tally of how many names we've already
Well, that's-
come up
that's
with.
the
So
new-
we got
that's-
one, we
it's
got
called-
two.
Let's call it posterity. Then change who's in it every time.
Mhm.
Change what microphones we use every time.
Fuck. Fucking
Which
mix it
drinks
up.
that we're drinking on the table.
Mix it up. Right now, the only drink we have on the table is our message to the globalist elite.
Alex Jones in the corner. You can hear him.
Do you guys have any issues with globalism?
Yes and no.
I think that answers your opinion.
I thought there was a no politics rule.
Mm.
I think every
So you
episode
think
we should talk
globalism is
about
political, huh?
no politics and then just immediately talk about politics, right?
You
I'll,
think
I'll
the
just back up from the mic
interconnectedness-
at this point. I'll just.
You think the interconnectedness of the local states, of the different international nations, you think that's political?
No, not at all.
Good. Good. How'd you guys feel about the coffee shot?
You know what? That was pretty good.
I enjoyed it.
First time I've done it.
Really?
Like a shot of just like black coffee.
It was like cold.
Haven't you
black
had it? You've never had an
Cold black
espresso
coffee.
Well, I
shot?
drink black coffee.
I've
but
had an
not cold.
espresso,
So what's the difference?
concentrated.
Sure. The espresso is more intense, right?
You know, and have you drank one ice cold?
Right. It's like having a beer shot. You ever had a shot of a beer before? You know?
Yeah.
You have?
Power hours.
Oh, yeah. Good
Friends
call.
used to make them in college. Custom videos, photos.
Interesting.
You
Different,
know.
different college experience there.
A facilitated drinking session.
Mm.
I didn't do the whole thing. I would drink like 3/4 of a shot glass. I feel like any drinking game, I'd be like, let me drink 3/4 of this. This seems
No one's really paying attention.
ridiculous.
You know, you
Yeah,
just gotta.
man.
Oh.
If you haven't cheated in a
Sometimes.
drinking game, come on, because I'm not drinking that. I'm at my limit. This should not happen. Right?
If everyone didn't cheat, more people would have liver problems for sure.
Bodies can take a lot of abuse, that's for sure.
Man, isn't it amazing
Yeah.
how like elastic almost the human body is?
Yeah, like I don't get 8 hours of sleep, and I'm like, oh.
Again, 21 years old.
I was
folks.
just.
Oh, I'm an old
This
man.
dude's
Only
what I
thing going
said.
through my mind at this point.
I am an old man in a young man's body.
This dude has the most pristine body at the table, and he's just like, going to sleep at 11 o'clock.
Bad sleep, bad back. I got back problems, or my liver all messed up. I probably do have the most old dude ailments, like weird knees. That's been clearing up though. That's good. That's fine now.
I have nothing but silence to meet with this.
No, I'm fine. Yeah,
Just,
I have no health problems to discuss necessarily.
Laugh it up, fit boys.
Fit boys.
under 30 BMI boys.
BMI, what a racket.
Well, I mean,
I
I get
reckon.
it. I get it.
To all my high BMI listeners, know that we're with you in your quest to get to a less embarrassing number.
That's embarrassing. I think I'm like 30 right now.
Are you 30?
Oh, I'm 5'8".
What are the ranges?
I've lost
Yeah,
some weight.
please. I don't give a shit at all about that, which is.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't
you're 30
obviously account for muscle, but it does account for.
No, exactly.
It's weight.
just
It's still weight on
how
your
much
bones.
body you have.
yeah.
Oh, I agree. Oh,
There we go. Why
Here
not?
we go.
Gotta
We're
get
gonna
the camera.
get
No, let's
the
keep
camera.
talking about
We'll
BMI.
keep talking about BMI.
Yeah.
You know.
Explain, because it's something that I've never really given a shit about at all, right? Like, obviously,
I
you
think
can
at
tell I
first it
work
was-
out a lot. So,
You're huge, dude.
but like, go ahead, go on.
I think it's it doesn't. I think it's for a benchmark of your fat content, but I think it just more is like the stress on your body. You know, because every extra pound you have, it's like miles of arteries. Even if it's like muscle, or it's just more mass on your body. Like if you're, like, you know, if you're a hulking human being with a lot of muscle,
Right, but
like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, how is it the same for,
it's not. But there's still stress. I think you live longer if you're just like a dude who's got like a decent amount of lean muscle mass, and you.
Weight is just work.
Yes, exactly.
Your body's just looking at that weight as work.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, fuck
Someone
that
who's
work. I'm done with
5'9"
that.
should not be over 220 pounds, pretty much.
Plus on your joints.
Oh
your cells. It's like a DNA
Joints are
thing.
crazy, right? Like how many times have you bench your elbow in your life? You know, million. You know,
Let's get the stress test numbers on that. How many, like, how many times you click a mouse before it breaks? It's like, how many times can I go like this with my elbow?
that's what my chiropractor was saying. How in the last 10, 15 years, how different things have been. Like a lot more shoulders,
Carpal
wrists.
tunnel.
You know, people hunched over, people on their phones all the
Their
time.
necks, when you
all the
look down.
things that are all crunched up are a lot different
I do feel very pent up often.
because you're always like crouched over something, right? You're like on a
Yeah.
computer or you're like on a phone. You know, like it's very different.
Would you guys rather have a hip joint, like a ball and socket joint at your knee, or at your elbow?
Elbow.
Elbow for sure.
I could punch hard.
Why? So you could elbow more people, Austin? Is that what it is?
Yeah, right.
This seems like
Killer
I already
elbows.
seem like a violent guy from the 10 minutes I've been talking.
If I had the power of my hip and my elbow, I could have killed that guy. Guy'd be on the floor.
I was actually genuinely afraid that happened. I was looking the day after of like people who got sent to the ambulance. I was
That's
good.
funny.
I was really actually afraid.
I
'Cause
just
he
like
went down like
I just like that you were
He
that
allegedly
confident.
went down,
Right.
like-
I like that you were that confident that my elbow could have killed someone. I need to look this up.
I mean,
right
if it was
now.
a hip joint,
well, I threw my whole body weight at him, and I'm like, that wasn't good. That was not. Well, he was a tinier guy, so in all fairness, but
CPD is listening to this now. We got him.
we got
Austin's
it.
arrested
yeah, you
from
give a
fucking
pretty
Rochester.
clear
Boston.
description on a little-known podcast.
This is theoretical. I heard my friend did that. Actually, I didn't do that. I was lying.
You guys picked the correct answer by saying at your elbow instead of your knee. I want to hear what your reasoning is for it, though. Why'd you guys choose that?
Wait, no, why is it correct? Tell me why it's correct. Of course it's correct. You really want
mean-
your fucking knee like
Arms
you
are
know?
more important than the legs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Period.
Wait, I was
Every
thinking more
situation,
that like
even walking, the arms are more important.
well, like how would walking and having a ball joint for your legs be any sort of benefit?
Oh, you could move laterally in a way you wouldn't normally be able to. Be like an
you're-
amazing athlete.
How? I don't think you. I think you would have
Your
less support. in
knees
your knee.
are hinge joints, so they move in one direction. But
Well,
if you could
that's-
move laterally left and right with a hip socket like
I tell you what,
Are we talking?
Derrick Rose would love those kneecaps.
Old glass knees. That's a shame for him, no doubt about it. He could have like some hips in his knees.
I feel like you get less support there.
Look, I could use
Once you
these.
start moving something, like your wrist wrist can move all four ways, and I feel like
Yeah,
your
and
wrist
you know
can-
why?
If you land on it,
'Cause
you
it's
can destroy it.
advantageous. You need that kind of movement.
We don't put a lot of weight on your wrist spinning.
It's almost like we evolved.
when you bench, you want to keep your wrist very solid and in the middle. Whenever you do any heavy
Punching or elbowing people in the fucking face.
punching, you want to keep your wrist very flat on top. You don't want it like here, because then you can get carpal tunnel, and it's like a very small opening for your nerves.
Is this how you teach that kid, that bully victim, to like?
I'm
punch?
a huge fan of teaching kids who get bullied how to fight. Just aside, that's
Huge
Are you
fan?
really?
Yeah. Well,
Do you
like
do that regularly?
No.
He's getting into the area.
Yeah, you
He
should.
just
Yeah.
started.
It'd be really cool if Austin started a school for like victims,
I would have to learn
bully
how to
victims.
fight better. I
Yeah.
just know how to throw my body weight. I don't know how to fight. But no, I like when people say. I used to stand up for kids that got bullied in like elementary school and middle school. I hated that so much. I hated
No,
when
I
Yeah.
tried to for certain times too.
You have to.
It's
Otherwise,
It takes a lot to go up against that, though. Like, because you have to really buck the trend or stand up against the bully, the most unpleasant people in the world.
I was friends with the bullies too, and I like threw him off with some guy because I'm like, don't. He's my friend. He was the
Yeah.
kid that got picked on, and I was like one of his only friends.
God, one of those living between two worlds moments.
Yeah, I tend to try to be friends with as many people as possible, but in the end of the day, it's like you're not part of one clique, but you're just like a little bit of everyone. So like weekends, you're just like, you know.
Get on your mic a little bit more.
Yes.
Get on that bad boy. Just tilt it right up on there.
We all want
Yeah.
to hear you. We want to hear what you're
And
saying.
then,
I'm gonna have
how
to-
did your friend take it? The bully guy. Like, was he like, all right, dude, I'm being a dick, sorry, or was he,
I just kind of.
fuck you, Austin, you hang out with him?
Yeah. Well, they just said they were gonna jump him, and I'm like, no, you're not.
Probably
Oh,
not
it
a
was
good idea.
preemptive.
Yeah. Well, I
Mm.
knew them. I knew both the kids. I was just like, no, that's not happening.
You were at the meeting, they were planning the hit.
Kind of. Just like, no, don't do that.
Third grade, we had a kid at our school had some learning disabilities. He had a hearing aid. He had a hearing aid battery, and a friend of mine decided to hide it in the snow, thinking it'd be funny.
That's fucked up.
And I was just like, "That's not happening. We're gonna take care of that. We're gonna get that back to this guy, because you just know when there's like a line to be crossed, right?" I'll never forget that. I was like, "That's my line."
That could have been a podcast listener. You gotta get that guy
Fuck,
back
right?
on track.
He could be listening to this with his cochlear implants right now.
I guess our mother raised us right if we both do the same thing. I
No,
had no
absolutely,
idea. I had no
absolutely.
idea.
Absolutely. It was like, it was just one of those things, like, it fell, right? and then my friend like kicked snow over it to like hide
You
it.
said you were going through this like instigated phase or whatever. Was this during that phase?
Oh
Were you-
yeah, totally.
Okay.
But you know, there's
you're
the
still
line.
recognizing
There's
it
the
on
line that
some
you don't
level.
cross.
Line,
Kids
you
with
know.
learning disabilities. That's
You
like
know.
that's the line that no one crosses. And
Yeah.
someone who does that's a monster. And it's
That's
like,
the thing. It was like clearly an egregious. Not saying that later on I didn't, make fun of the same person, but in that moment, there's like
There's definitely a line when you
can't-
do something behind the kid's back to like your friend, opposed to you're actually harming the kid and making his life even harder than it already is.
Yeah, and you're not always in sight of the light. You're not really sure what to do in every
You're a kid.
situation.
You're a kid.
Absolutely.
But it's cool that you had both moments in this period. The
Hey, it's almost
sinner
like
and the saint.
It's almost like we're brothers.
It's almost like we're related or something.
I think a lot
How
of
was
people,
Lollapalooza otherwise? I've been dying to ask. Kind of acts.
Have
did
you ever been to
see?
Lollapalooza?
I have.
Oh, I have not.
That was the year with Red Hot Chili Peppers, and we got pretty close to the front, so that was pretty awesome.
Damn.
After that, I was just like, let's not stay at the EDM phase. And then I went again with my other friends. Me and the ex already broke up at that point, so I was like, fuck
Alleged
it.
ex.
Alleged ex. So I'm like, let's just have a good time. So basically, I turned up being the bodyguard to fucking prevent my friends from the mosh pit that was like behind me. We got to the rails, and I was just like standing like this the whole time, preventing them from getting murdered. Because there was just like a sea of death behind
You told
me.
me about that before when you were like a human shield.
Yeah, that
I
hurt
think
my
that,
back a
that's
lot.
like a certain type of personality. Not only someone in the mosh pit, someone on the circle of the mosh pit. Because I've been in some of those moments, and I've been the guy in the circle, like, all right, have a good time, everybody. Oh, nice elbow.
have your buddy,
sweet."
have your buddy. A buddy
Whoa,
system.
But it's like you're like also kind of like, yeah, fuck this shit. And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
definitely
big
a
enough-
primal.
mosh,
I'm
but
not a
you're
big
in-
enough guy to enjoy that at all. I
to
did
be
not
right in
like it.
between those two.
It's a primal feeling. I kind of
Yeah.
for a second jumped in the mosh pit and then I came back in.
I've never been a
them.
mosher though. I can't like really mosh. Like maybe once.
It's been less than a handful, but the times that I've done it, I did not enjoy it because I'm not a big guy. You know what I mean? And there's people that are just like you're just. You know what I mean?
It's not fun if you it was like a modified mosh pit where it was like people, had a little bit of a clearing and then two guys would look at each other
Yeah.
and just
Charge
run
each
into
other.
each other.
Right.
So that was the part. That was fun
That
until my back
sounds-
started to hurt. I was like, oh boy, that's right. I have like bulging discs. I
Moshing
should be
now
running into
versus
some-
moshing what it used to be, very different. Right. Very different.
That was the Primus concert I went to. That was the type of moshing you were talking about.
Thank
I
you.
stayed out of that one because there were some hefty fellas. In
Oh,
that
Yes.
one.
that's got to be
Big old
those
boys
are career
trying to-
moshers,
yeah.
no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Jesus.
I was
Also,
like,
I think-
I'm gonna avoid that.
A rule of thumb for a mosh pit, like you shouldn't be able to run more than 3 feet. You know,
Yeah.
if you can get more than 3 feet of momentum on that shoulder,
Because
that's
people really want to
dangerous.
like
That was bad.
charge up and hurt people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and some people are just there to like have a good time, throw their bodies around. You know?
I think it's a lot worse when you have football pads. They were saying that people are hitting harder now because of the football pads than they
Yeah.
were back in the day because
Oh, yeah.
it's like I can run into this guy at max speed and I will not be harmed. But if
Yeah,
you
the-
have just a regular shoulder, it's like if I hit him too hard, I'm going to dislocate my shoulder.
Yeah, the leatherheads weren't doing that. There's no doubt.
No,
about
they
it.
were very gentle about it. Less brain injuries than now because now it's just
It's incredible.
Talk about an unintended consequence of wearing a helmet, huh?
310-pound dudes running at each other now. It's ridiculous.
what concussions everywhere, all over the place. All these key people are knocked out.
They've gotten stronger over the years too. People have gotten stronger and heavier, and it's just like, ooh, there was a percentage, like 2% of the people in football were like over 300 pounds and like before now. But now everyone, it's like 98. Like every big lineman's at least 300 pounds, or you don't make it in the NFL.
What was it that Rob Gronkowski was saying? He's like, I've had
Oh man,
dozens of concussions, and I've had like 7 or 8 blackouts. Right, like many, like just basically like and that's the only things that he's talking about.
I've had 7 or 8 concussions, and I've still had 7 or 8. I mean concussions. I mean blackouts.
That's what I'm saying though. Like he's like, the question was like, would you let your son?
My name
play
is Bob
football?
Rongowski.
He was like,
My name-
would you let your son play football? And it's like, yeah, but I would make sure that he
no
knows the
thanks.
risks. You know what I mean? Like
No thanks.
that's it's a risky situation.
yeah, that's gonna be a big debate too when I get older. I have to decide.
Oh,
Your bro-
about your kids?
Yeah, if
Your
they want,
non-existent kids.
Your
right
brother
now?
just
Not
finished
existent.
playing football, Austin.
yeah, he got
so
his brain
he-
rocked a couple times.
Right.
He was on
Exactly.
defense.
He's
though,
still a
even,
smart kid. Oh, deep, yeah.
which is you're the ones providing the hit, hopefully.
Right, but he knows. He definitely was very conscious of what was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an easy situation at all.
No. I
It's,
think he's had 2 concussions in his career.
I
It's not
definitely have CT. I had a lot of concussions when I was younger from playing football, but also from just like
Really?
hitting my head a lot.
Oh, he hit his head a lot.
Big
I just
head
was
hitter?
I have a huge noggin. It doesn't look like it, but my head is like enormous, and I have like scars from hitting my head all over the place. And I've had head hits now. Actually, early this year in like January,
Hit his
early
head
morning,
one time.
opened my car door into my forehead. Right,
Oh Jesus!
split it,
Oh yeah.
split it open. Right, like just like goof. Right, gave myself a concussion.
Yeah, October you could have been Harry Potter for Halloween, but January.
I fucking missed out. You're absolutely right.
you
Because
took
it
like
was a
seasonal
little.
affective
little
disorder,
lightning gash.
lunatic. The gash on his forehead.
Yeah, just like a
Oh.
sad boy because of the snow.
Did you
But-
come up with any good jokes to tell people how you got that, or were you just
No.
like, oh, fucked up?
I think the joke is in of itself is I opened a car door into my fucking head, right? And like that's pretty stupid and funny. It just was early morning, like it was one of those things that was a little stuck and just, the corner just jammed you.
Happens. My dad closed the car door on his finger, lost half his
Lost it.
finger like Rahm Emanuel.
Yeah, I am familiar with that because remember he was one of the first people I noticed without a finger, and I remember asking him about it, be like,
Turns out
I've never known why that was like that, and now I just got my answer. I've never asked anyone. I just kind of noticed it, and it was just like, well, not gonna bring any attention to it, but it's there.
yeah, you only need like 8 or 9 of those fingers, and
How
you can just
man,
keep
you
on
must have
talking, keep on
closed it
moving.
really hard in the door to do that? Jeez.
It was the 70s, different
Yeah.
doors.
I was gonna say probably like a big
the
hefty.
fingers were even being built differently back then.
man.
Different
Um,
bones.
Guy I work with, he's from Ethiopia, and he's missing a finger.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham and Sarah, two of my favorite people in the whole universe.
Did he lose it here or in Ethiopia?
He was tortured, straight up, and like he had said it, and I had known this, you know what I mean? Like I'd known their story, right?
Yeah.
And then one day we were doing something at work, and I looked at his hand. I was like, "Oh, what's that?" He's like, "Oh, that's when they tortured me." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, they chopped my finger off." I was like, "What?" Like he's like, "Yeah, remember when I told you that they tortured me?" And I was like,
I thought you were
you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, of course, but like literally they like pulled his fingernails out and they chopped the tips of his fingers off. You know what I mean? Like wild shit.
crazy.
I mean, we're talking about joints and these
was
different
gonna say,
mechanisms on your body. Finger is
noticing-
very intimate.
noticing
Finger is
that.
one of the ones.
Yeah.
And again, it's just lending itself to wanting a hip socket on your elbow as opposed to your actual kneecap.
I appreciate you bringing it back to that fucking silly ass question.
I was gonna say right before you bring it back, an acquaintance of mine. I wouldn't even say friend at this point.
That sounds dark.
We'll
No,
unpack
not
that.
even a
We're gonna
friend.
unpack that.
part of a friend
Continue.
group. I don't want to get too part
Is
of
this
a
about
friend group.
hip or finger?
Part
Yeah.
of a friend group made
Part
a lot
of
of
a friend
mistakes.
group.
Like a lot of mistakes consistently. After we're like, dude, don't do this.
Like what kind of mistakes?
Like getting an underage girl pregnant. And like
See,
what?
I'm so glad I asked and
fuck?
unpacked.
I don't
What are
want
you
to. Yeah.
talking about?
Oh, it's a person that
How
was
underage and how more?
15.
How old
and,
was they?
addicted to drugs.
How old was the gentleman in
God.
question?
My age.
20.
old were you
So
at the
he
time?
was 19. and she
19
was
and
15.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that's
And
still
she
a
was
little
He
on
was on
drugs.
drugs or she was on
was on
drugs?
drugs.
What kind of
And
drugs? Good drugs?
Crack, maybe heroin, I think.
Oh,
So the
Jesus.
best drugs.
Long story short, he was cutting something like this. Scar right down his face,
He stabbed himself in the face.
right in the face.
You know what? Honestly,
He meant to on some level.
Darwin has a really,
Oh, you think he's just
evolution
dumb?
and just like
Pure ignorance. No, I think he meant to stab himself. I used to know someone who believed that whenever you tripped or made a mistake or slipped, there was like a reason for that. Like you're intentionally doing that on some level
I feel
because
that.
of the subconscious, the way the subconscious works, and like the things you do to yourself on a level that you're not being intentional with. That motherfucker might have stabbed himself in the face for that reason.
interesting theory.
I feel that.
I thought it was
theory-
crazy when I first heard it, but then I started thinking about it, and
Oh, my initial thought is like, no, I don't on purpose
looked-
trip and fall. I was like, well, maybe I'm a piece of shit. Maybe I do purposely trip and fall.
You are very clumsy, and I love it a lot.
at the very least, it's because you're not being mindful of the situation.
back at you.
But it all depends how you. It's all about the dismount, Matthew. If you land into like a push-up position, you.
So
can
I
pull
guess
it
if
off.
you raise your arms at the end, you're falling up the fucking stairs. You're better. Is that what
Yeah, you
you're
go.
saying?
Woo!
how
You
you
put
do
a lot of
anything.
attention to yourself.
It's how you do anything. Do you guys buy into this at all, though? Like, have you found moments where you like kind of fucked yourself over on some level, didn't intend to, be like, that was kind of crazy. I did that right after this other thing just happened.
Generally, when you're stressed out about something and you're like thinking about it, like, oh, I don't want to make a mistake, then you'll make more mistakes, right? And
Right.
it is your subconscious, like, kind of fucking your shit up.
Yeah, at the very least, maybe you're stressed about this negative thing, and then something negative happens because you weren't just taking care of business as usual, right?
You're thinking too much about it.
TCOB. I do feel not so much in the sense of tripping is like a self-fulfilling prophecy and all that. I feel like sometimes when I want to do something really bad and plans change and I end up not doing, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could have died in a car accident if I made it to that party. Like, I think like that. Well, it's just like, well, because it's like, it helps me forget about what could be.
Yeah, that
Things
wasn't the
happen for a
path.
reason.
I don't like doing that. I don't like thinking about, remembering like, well, maybe I would have had a good time if I got to that party. Da, 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 da. Well, it's like, what if something bad happened if I got there?
No
So
FOMO,
you know what?
no regrets.
I try to not have any because life's very short.
And YOLO.
It's not that short, all right?
No.
You know, people always say that life's long. I
Life's
do think
long,
that
right.
life's long.
It is like 80 years.
God.
on
People who
average.
say life is short have done stupid things. You know what I mean? Like, life is long.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
you
not
need
the
to.
better. They're not paying attention. It's
Yeah,
just
like you're just living life,
I
man.
paid
Like,
12 electric bills last year, for Christ's sakes. Give me a break. Life's short.
right.
I think 20 electric bills max in my life, if that's a short life.
Life's short, but bills are surely long.
Paying 96 electric bills from living 80 years. It's ridiculous.
30-year mortgage. How about that? That's a crazy thought.
That's a
You,
long
you
time.
look at, you sign that paper and you're looking at that shit and you're like, 30 years. Am I gonna be around for 30 years?
It's a big commitment.
I don't even
Probably,
like.
I was just going to say, probably a bigger commitment than marriage. 50% failure rate. Buying a house with someone.
Don't get me started about marriage.
I won't. I'm going to get you started about this mortgage, though. 30-year commitment. How'd you feel about that?
You know, it's a thing, right? But
Did you have to hype yourself up? Like, look in the mirror, slap yourself in the face,
a little bit.
look at your dick, flick it,
But like,
see if it moves.
get back, wake up. No,
Can you
it-
pay for this? Is
it's-
this going to happen?
it's more about life, right? Like, providing for, your family.
Oh, it's the next step,
Right.
man. Yeah, you're
Making sure that they're in a situation where they're comfortable and they're feeling like they can flourish, right? It's not necessarily about you and what you're feeling. You have people that are relying on you. So you need to make sure that they're comfortable in their situations.
absolutely. I'm sure at your point, because you have children and whatnot, your identity would be more collective than it is individual.
And whatnot.
Unfortunately, I
The
don't.
whatnot's the 30-year mortgage.
Gotcha.
I don't think that I am as collective as I could be. I still
Oh,
feel
come on,
I
man.
still feel like myself is very autonomous in the structure of our family.
That's
You're all
not,
just-
that's not technically a bad thing. I mean,
No.
you tend to lose your sense of self if you start to absorb into a blob.
Here we go.
I feel you can be.
when two become one, that's subtraction.
To
You're just losing someone.
That's
in that
true. That's
situation.
true. That's the biggest thing of a relationship. You got to be your own person.
But you want to be able to be your own person but have like a family and it's more about knowing where your priorities are, right?
There it
It's
is.
priorities, right? Like, yeah, you love
Mhm.
your friends, but your family is your family. Like, the people that are relying on you day to day are the people that are relying on you day to day. So as much as you want to go out and do that thing, which that's what I've learned in the last 3-4 years, it's like,
Podcasting with your cousins.
don't do that thing, right? But you have to make time for this. This is something that I've wanted to do for so long.
I'm going to need you to make 31 years worth
Make
of time for this.
I will.
If that's
Don't worry.
cool with you.
Don't
Sign right here, please.
Don't worry. I'll sign in blood. I'll stab myself with that really thin pen and draw some blood and sign in my blood.
Please don't.
No, real talk though. Like, this is something you wanted to make time for. And so it definitely focuses your time and your time management, and you do the things that are important to you more. And you know that sometimes the thing that is important, you don't necessarily get to do it because there's other things that you're responsible for.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm less productive when I don't have something else I'm doing, because then you don't want to maximize your hours as much. You just take your time for granted.
I'll get to it.
Right. I mean, yeah, work has a tendency to stretch out into the time you allow it. So
Absolutely.
Famous last words.
when you
I'll
got
get
all
to.
day, when you got all day.
Procrastination is a awful thing.
Austin, how does it feel, or how would it feel to get a 30-year mortgage at 21?
Yeah.
If for some reason you had to buy a house at your age,
I sign up for pay-to-own plans for plugins that are $200. So
What
a
the
yeah,
pay to own, like you're
like a synthesizer.
Layaway.
There's for audio.
you're doing layaway on
layaway.
synths,
Yes,
on skins,
It's-
synth
yeah.
skins.
I have a mastering program and a synth, and I'm
So what's the biggest synth related obligation you signed yourself up for? How long?
$200, $10 a month, until I complete the purchase.
Okay, 20 months.
I'm not gonna do it. There you go.
20 months.
Very easy math for you.
That's just over
So-
3 years.
So why don't you just
They
like
pay me to make music, not to do math.
why don't you just like save $50 up and just pay all
It's
that
a
up?
lot easier to swallow saying $10 a month opposed to $200.
$200 like
Because it's like that and like another software, and I bought them in bulk, so
Sure.
I'm not gonna spend $500 on the both. I'm gonna spend like $20 a month and $10 a month.
I got you.
Yeah, layaway software.
It's pretty cool.
Have you regretted any of these? Or
Splice.com, I recommend.
Have you loved Splice.com, bringing you all your
It's the one that we should use to sync our projects together because they have like an online cloud-based something we can do. Our
He
12
gets,
gigabyte jam.
He gets a $5 a month discount if he gets me to sign up.
Right. I felt like that was a bit of a pyramid scheme.
Just use my
you know,
URL.
If you join
Here.
with me right now,
Bro, I'm gonna write down my
I only have to
URL.
pay 5, so that's 15 for the two of us. We should each just pay 7.5 to one another. You know, we
There's
can
my
split it.
URL. Type it in and then sign up, please.
and you get 5 people to join me.
Yeah, pyramid scheme.
Austin Synth at falcon11.com. Everyone put the discount code in. You'll be sure to get plenty off each order. I can't imagine putting software like that on layaway, but you know, if you want to create something and you noodle, you gotta get that out on paper.
It
or
is kind
in
of
this
a,
case, Ableton work file.
Yeah, it is kind of a not the smartest thing because then like in 2 years the new one comes out and it's like you've kind of been paying for something that's not worth what it is after the first month, you know.
Yeah.
It's like buying a car like that too. But I mean,
It's
like
the one good thing about having like an Adobe subscription now is
I was
when you
just
pay
thinking
for that, you get the new bad boy too.
same with Ableton. Just
Yeah.
not the plugins, but Ableton does that too. I got like a lot of money off Ableton 10 because I bought Ableton 8 for full price.
They're trying to
Ableton
keep you on
9
the
was
teat.
free, and then Ableton 10 was a huge discount.
There was something I was remembering about that, and you literally brought it up with Adobe, where some of the people who bought the original Adobe software are like grandfathered in forever.
That's great.
Really?
And they got it like super cheap, but they get like everything. So
Back
it's
then
like,
it was just scissors and glue. Came in a pack.
Paper
South
mache.
Park, yeah.
But they, you know what I mean? They bought it very cheap when it initially started, and then more aside, just saw something recently about the person who bought the first ticket to Disney World. And
The lifetime pass.
yep, and then
Yeah.
it ends up being a lifetime pass to like all their parks forever. And it's like the first ticket, and it's like 00001.
I hate Star Wars. Unfortunately, this movie has been deemed to be important by the folks at Disney. Now I'm stuck with this ticket, and I gotta go to watch Star Wars as opposed to the mouse. I love the mouse, but now I'm watching these again. Star Wars.
Fucking dudes with light swords and something.
Fucking
and, you know,
cauterizing the burn when they cut no blood on TV.
You know,
What's
in
that?
my day, you had a sword, not a light sword, a sword.
straight, sharp iron. Nothing fancy. No lights. No colors.
You don't hear the shink of metal on bone.
You know, it used to be a gritty place, Disneyland. It was like New York in the 80s. You went there. It's terrifying. Everywhere you looked, there was a fucking mouse, 6-foot mouse running by.
Garbage heaped up in the streets.
Yeah. I would get pretty sick of Disneyland, Disney World if I went more than once every 5 years.
There was that one guy who got the I don't know if it was Boeing or not Boeing, like United or like basically an unlimited miles type thing. Like, oh, this guy's not going to do that. He basically bankrupted the company almost. Like he costed the company like millions of dollars because he just flew from like Hong Kong to
It's
like
like that
Chicago.
with everything in life. There's like 1% of people that fuck
I
it
have
up
it
for everyone.
I have
Yeah.
it hard to believe that he was able to bankrupt a company by himself.
No,
However,
that's not
I'm
what I
sure he
mean.
cost them
An
a lot of money.
exaggeration. He cost him about a couple.
It's really funny though. When
Oh,
you
well, this guy can't fucking fly with us. We're about to go bankrupt, for Christ's sake.
this one person is bankrupting us. There's a person I follow on Instagram, and he's a personality, and he goes to Disneyland like every other day. He goes to Disneyland.
This
Universal
personality
Studios.
brought to you by Disney.
Right. It's he's
We're gonna own everything in 2
he's
years.
actually an announcer for WWE, and he lives in Tampa,
Look.
Orlando. And so for like on his off days, him and his girlfriend, all they do is go to like the Universal.
I've met Disney people though. There's like there's a Disney cruise. Are you familiar with that? They have a fucking boat.
We went on it.
That these
I
Disney
went
people go on?
I've been
You've
on
been
the
on
big,
this?
I've been on the big red
Let's
boat.
hear it.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
When I was
When did
very
Goofy
young,
come out?
It was actually Sylvester and Tweety. It was also co-signed with like the Looney Tunes at the time too.
No shit.
So yeah, it was the big
Some
red boat.
Six Flags shit going on.
Yeah, we went to Disney. It was like a week thing. We went to Disneyland, Disney World for like 4 days, and then we went on the cruise for like 3 or 4 days. I ended up getting seasick. Hurricane Gordon was a hurricane.
Sounds like a good time so
Right.
far.
Oh, our boat.
Thanks, Disney.
Our boat at the end. It was like towards the end of the trip, hit the tail end of this hurricane, and it just was like
I'm sorry.
boom, 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 boom. So me and our mom got sick. Our mother, me and my
Our
mom,
mother.
we got like horribly sick and throwing up. But I remember they had like the service where you got to be put to bed by characters.
What?
with a
and
pillow
it-
over your
right.
face.
So like
What?
I mean I was like
Could
I
you
was
pick?
Clementine's age. I can't remember honestly, I can't remember. I was her age.
Shit, I got
So it
Hercules
was like
tonight.
6 or 5. Oh my god, could you imagine some guy in like Roman attire and a sword putting you to
Hercules.
bed?
That's DreamWorks. Am I getting that wrong?
No, Hercules is absolutely
Okay.
Disney. Yeah.
It's all Disney.
It's all Disney.
Shrek.
Bad
Oh,
Boys
he's
2
in-
is Disney, right?
Yeah. Oh man. Actually, funny enough,
Excited to see the third one?
Miramax is owned by Disney, so yes, I believe. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I don't know. We have to look into that. But
Who knows what Disney owns nowadays?
More about the cruise. Was there some good food at least?
Oh man, it was
Or,
crazy. Yes, there was good food. I remember the ice sculptures.
I've never done a
specifically.
cruise.
The ice sculptures.
Never been
specifically
on one in my
were,
life.
That was, I think, my first and only. But yeah.
Well, it sounds like it went like hell. So.
Oh, the end of it was terrible. I got tucked in by, I think, Sylvester or Tweety, and then
Tucked in by
don't
Hades.
just glaze over that.
I can't remember who it was, or if it was
Give us the
Wile E.
gritty
Coyote.
details.
Because it might affect something later on in life that you were tucked in by.
Together?
who
Were they
knows?
together or was it
Were they
one
They were
at a
holding
time?
holding
hands?
hands together, and they like touched me a little bit, and totally.
Did you
fine.
demonstrate on the globe in the fire where they touched you?
I find it interesting that they're like related characters.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like Looney Tunes and
Sending
Disney
in
at the
Mickey and
time.
Minnie.
Right. Which was, again, I was wondering if there was some sort of timeshare thing there, or like, hey, they're because Looney Tunes is definitely not. It's Warner Brothers. Looney Tunes is Warner Brothers.
I was really hoping you were going to tell me that like when they talked to you and they like leaned in and said, "You should tell your parents you love this place." Like they were part of the sales team.
Yeah,
Or the
right.
sales team?
Like, all right, time to make the closing call here.
Trying to push it even further. Yeah, that's what they're all
Oh,
about.
we'll
though.
tuck your kids in. Yeah.
Oh, we'll tuck your kids in.
Sell
Just you got to
more,
close the
yeah.
door behind you. You got to give us 15 seconds alone. You can't be listening. We get to say whatever we want to your kids.
Jesus Christ.
We'll tuck your kids in.
Across the
Tell
other
them-
side of the boat, we're gonna tuck your kids in, and you got to be on this side of the boat, and it's a 15-minute walk to get over to your kids.
And if
and,
they get yappy about buying tickets afterward, just go along with it. All right, don't be a-holes about it.
Subliminal messaging.
Never been on a cruise. I don't know. It might happen at some point. I think for certain situations it would be nice, like when you're in areas that are hard to get to by plane. Or
I'd like to go on
I
an
don't know if that's a thing
Alaskan
or not.
cruise and
yeah,
see whales.
that's what people always do, right?
Titanic, sir. Icebergs much?
Did that start in Alaska?
No.
No.
The movie, it
it
looked
was
like
in
New York.
London. Oh yes, I'm sorry, New York to
I
London.
don't know.
That's what it was. New York to London.
What was Billy Zane? I can't remember what his.
Billy Zane
He's supposed to
was
be
the fiance of
British
Kate
or-
Winslet's character, and he was like the abusive, financier, right? He had money.
The bad guy,
Yeah,
the bald bad guy.
little antagonist. Him and the iceberg, the antagonist.
It's been a while since I've seen Titanic. I can't say I'm gonna go on a cruise or watch Titanic anytime soon. I think I'm just realizing that giant boats aren't my deal.
Likewise. I like land a lot.
Yeah, giant
Land's
boats
been
now
good
these
so
days.
far.
I like small boats. I can deal with small boats.
Yeah,
and fishing,
rowboat.
but Just
Count me in.
just days on a cruise. I don't like that.
I think about the disease that runs rampant on a cruise and how gross
People
it is.
often
Gluttony?
get
It's a very
Gluttony?
closed system that
Mm.
you're on for several days. And it's very hard to, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people in a very small spot.
People are just getting shit faced and eating shrimp all day too. Like you got to be putting some poisons into those.
Just a lot of
septic
SHing.
systems.
Think about all the farts you're absorbing in a
Getting
small
shit-faced and
space
shrimp.
like that.
And the fine mahogany wood on those cruise ships too. You know it's soaking up those farts.
So many.
It's
Soaking up the
disgusting.
good times.
I'm a bit too claustrophobic. I'm a bit too claustrophobic for a cruise nowadays, I think.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm pretty claustrophobic, yeah.
Did you develop that?
No, I've already. I'll tell you exactly where I got it. The movie Hook, where they trap a pirate, which is actually Glenn Close in drag, in the boo box, and they drop scorpions in it. And
What
I
the
remember
hell?
that from when I was young, and it terrified me, and I got scared, and so I was claustrophobic.
I like to see a statistic of how many kids got traumatized by what movies and like what mental.
That's
at
why
it.
we are filing a class action lawsuit against this movie company for allowing the perpetuity of scorpions
Got scorpions.
to ruin our lives.
Think about Jaws. Think about It. These movies that have gotten stuck in the subconscious, and people are now afraid of clowns. People are afraid of sharks.
Do you think there's any like dumbass or drunk dudes like out
Hold
in
on,
California,
ready? Yes.
Florida,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
who are like, fucking Jaws, I'm gonna go out there and shoot a shark, stop them from hurting innocent people.
Well, I mean, This is gonna be. I was
Would you
gonna
rather
say-
be a shark hunter or an alligator hunter?
I was just gonna say some pretty heinous, but yeah, right.
Go for it.
No, well, I mean, if we're having people shooting up churches because they hate people, I'm pretty sure there's people
shooting sharks.
going out
You know
and
what?
shooting
I take it
fucking
back.
sharks.
I wish people were shooting sharks instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, right? Like that's what I was thinking. It's like, oh man, I hope there's somebody out hating sharks as much as they hate other people. You know?
As long as it takes away from more people that hate people that go to church.
But yes, what?
I'm saying, like, you wouldn't want an addition amount of people now hating sharks on top of
Yes.
you want some of the people who are going to go shoot up a church to go shoot sharks instead.
Yeah, do that.
That's what I was trying to.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, shoot a shark, don't shoot a human.
You guys aren't showing much interest in the alligator hunting.
Honestly,
Alligators can get it too.
Yeah,
They're
but
prehistoric beings. They're
They're
apex
scary.
predators.
I feel like they're spiders. I like them. You know, I'm fine with them.
Oh yeah, that's something you hear often.
Alligators and spiders.
I
are
think
the
about
same.
them like I think about spiders.
Yeah, you
I'm
could-
a big fan.
Difference is
Horribly-
you can squash a spider with a shoe.
Horribly terrifying creatures, but I'm okay with them. You know.
I don't know. It's around Halloween, so I'm gonna give you some credit on this, but
Our house is covered in spiders. It's ridiculous.
I was gonna say you're like
I've-
Spider-Man, aren't you?
I will say I've learned to like spiders more because I know they eat like mosquitoes and termites and
They
like
eat
things that
all
can
the other
really fuck
bugs.
your life
Yeah,
up.
they eat all the other nasty bugs. You know what I mean?
I try to give them like a pound and a hug now when I walk by them.
8 pounds and hugs.
Real talk. I keep rescuing the spiders in my house and throwing them outside, and now my house is covered in spider webs. Like I have to
Seriously?
go out. I'm dead
Yeah,
serious.
when I
I'm
picked
dead
him up, it
serious.
was like Spider Central.
I
I was
showed
like,
him.
I'm
I was
not
like,
going
"Look at
anywhere
this."
near
I
your
hear
house.
you loud and clear. Keep killing my spiders. Got it.
But now, well, yeah, now we're gonna have a kill policy. We don't, except for the one outside of the
Shoot
window.
on sight.
There's one outside the window that they literally call Charlotte. That's been there for like weeks and weeks, and he lives there or she lives there. They live there.
Clementine was in my room and she said the one in my window. I had one in my window. She called it Charlotte, and I was wondering like, oh, that was
That's why. Yeah.
same thing carried over.
Did you have a no-kill policy before, where like you didn't or couldn't?
Well, since
kill
I'm
them?
handling all the bugs, I just am like, yeah, I'll kill.
You're the bug guy in the house.
Oh, I mean, gotta be.
He's the bug collector.
What's your method of killing? Shoe, paper towel,
Whatever's that hand.
sock.
With the spider, I'll get a cup and a paper and trap
right,
it
you're saving
and
and shit.
rescue it. But like,
How have you been killing nowadays though?
if I see a silver, I'll just fucking use my hand. Like you used to use
What?
silverfish.
Your hand
Oh,
on
I-
a spider?
Not on a spider. Never a
Silverfish.
spider. Like a silverfish or a centipede. You know, one of those nasty
Don't they
long
kill
hands.
bad things too?
No, those
No,
are
those are-
monsters. Those
they're
are monsters.
monsters.
Those are the devil's bugs. I like
Those
to
just
say.
look bad, but don't they kill?
I don't care if they
annoying.
look bad. No,
They do look bad.
I'm
I admit that they look the worst.
the
Silverfish
legs.
are the worst looking
I
things.
really don't like
Look
all
them
of
up
the
if you don't know what
legs.
they look like.
It's just terrible. So I'll kill those fuckers. You know.
Actually, don't look it up. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, Jamie, pull it up.
Please
I'm
don't
right
do
here.
that to yourself. I've tried to become cooler with those. Same reason. Trying to be more mature. I'm 30 now. I want to be down with spiders. I want to be down with silverfish. Those are the relationships I'm trying to build.
I got that more in years. I'm
Not,
killing
not
everything.
like human relationships, but like relationships with like bugs and insects, and learning to love them, and they're you know.
I'm gonna be one of those guys. You know.
You leave this hang out.
I have like a tarantula
We're
collection.
gonna let this hang out right now. No, I'm sorry. It's actually dark again. We know that though, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
No,
When did it go off?
I'm not sure.
like 2 seconds ago.
That's okay.
I've been really in depth with you guys, so
Yeah, no, it's good when you lose track. This might not be the video one.
we want to see where we're
Is
at.
this anyone? Actually, we could just be done, I guess.
I guess.
How long has it been?
I gonna let the video camera dictate our flow here.
I don't know if
Nah.
I want to. I'm pretty.
I mean, I'll
It's more like I'm really hungry.
try to turn that thing back on. How long do we do?
I don't
What's
know.
your guess? We probably got an hour.
We did.
Alright.
We did well over an hour.
We did an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, we did well over
Right
an
now,
hour.
hour 10
When we
minutes.
started, it was definitely almost 10, and now it's 11,
I try, folks.
30.
Try to get us some more time.
11:30.
That was good. That was great.
I don't.
Thank you.
You know what? Now I feel
Appreciate
like I'm stopping this.
No,
and
that's
I don't,
fine.
I don't.
No, I just talk like this. I just,
Nope.
you know,
Just
I
passive
just
aggressive.
talk like this. You want to eat some burgers?
I'm starting to get pretty hungry too.
We did order some food though. That's what came
It's definitely
8 minutes in.
definitely cold
We
right now.
started.
I know. I'm hungry.
Was between
Our cold food.
12 and 200 minutes ago.
You know what? I didn't order any ranch, and I'm gonna regret that for my onion
Mm.
rings.
Yeah, I
Big
don't have
mistake.
any.
Big mistake.
ranch it up.
There's no way you don't eat ranch. Look
No.
at you. You're a
I don't
physical
scream
specimen.
ranch.
You don't eat ranch.
You might think mayo.
Yeah,
Mayo's okay.
slightly.
Health
But
wise,
you're,
Mayo's
Of course
fine.
he eats mayo.
you're too rail
ranch.
thin and healthy for that. You know?
Don't think mayo when you look at me, please.
No. All right. Good cast.
That was great.
You gotta do the. You didn't do the. Shoo. There
There
you
it
go.
is.